started thinking about two of the most common streaming platforms and what the names of them actually mean: Twitch and Discord. So the definition of Twitch means to move jerkily, to tweak, to thresh, which means to separate a seed, which is a physical act of crushing and dividing. Not to get too deep, but there are many spiritual reasons and aspects to what that actually means, that crushing and dividing of the seed. But I'm not gonna go there. Let's stay on topic. The antonym of Twitch, it means calm, it means still, it means rest, it means relax, and it means unwind. And the reason why this was such a big revelation to me when I read these definitions is because in my book, Expose: The Battle for the Soul of a Generation, I not only talk about gaming and streaming platforms, but throughout the book, I go into great detail about how the enemy wants to steal the attention, especially of the youth. Why? So that you're always on the airwaves. You're always paying attention to what somebody else is doing. Why do you think the enemy makes available 24-hour streams, 30-day stream marathons? You are on these platforms paying attention to what somebody else is doing. It is causing you not to be able to hear the small, still voice of the Lord. God is not going to shout at you. He is not going to jerk you. Sometimes he'll jerk you up to get your attention, but you know what I mean? He speaks in a small, still voice. It's in a secret place, and it requires you to shut off all the noise, and it requires you to get alone with God, and it requires you to be available to hear him in your inner man, your spirit. Well, how can you ever hear his small, still voice, which is the antonym to Twitch, if you always on Twitch? Let's go further though. Let's talk about Discord. Did you know that Discord, the definition of it, literally means strife? It means lack of agreement. It means to disagree. It means to clash, and it means dissonance, which we know that cognitive dissonance is an inconsistency between your beliefs and your actions. So even if you wanted to spend time with God, worship, and pray, a lot of times your actions just don't follow your desires. Even if you believe in God, a lot of times you never do what you have to do to have a relationship and spend time with God. And if you think about that prefix dis in Discord, dis means a separation. Well, what is discord separating you from? Your time with God, your relationship with God. If you look at what the word cord means, it is an attachment. It is a bond. Well, discord puts you out of bond, and it puts you out of harmony. Often it puts you in a state of clashing and in a state of strife with God. What you have to understand is that there are people who create the concepts of these platforms to influence you. You don't think that the people who created these streaming platforms obviously know that millions of young kids, because it's mostly your age group, teenagers and young adults, were going to be their target audience to captivate and spend all of their time on these platforms. They obviously know that. They target you, they market to you, and they draw you in, which is why they're paying so much money for these young influencers to be on these apps. They know that if they can get you to use these apps and just go along, because let's face it, even Jesus calls us sheep. Sheep need shepherding. Sheep without a shepherd are lost. And if the sheep are following the voice of the world and not following Jesus, not spending time with Jesus, separated in discord with Jesus, then we would be lost. Anything that has a power to influence you and captivate the attention of millions of people at a time is influence in the spiritual realm before it ever became a physical product. So this is how you know if God is in it or not. We talked about the antonyms for Twitch, meaning calm, still, rest. All you ever have to do is go to the scriptures. Matthew 11:28 is where Jesus is saying, "Come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest." So there goes that word rest. Look at Psalms 46:10. God says to be still and know that I am God. So that means you can only know the fact that he is God when you are still. In Psalms 37:7, it simply says, "Be still before the Lord." It gives you instructions on how you can trust him and wait patiently for him. Frankly, you cannot have God and be close to him outside of how he tells you to do it. But let's dive into some scriptures for discord. We already talked about one of the definitions being dissonance or cognitive dissonance, right? Believing one thing and doing another. James chapter 1 and verse 23 and 24 talks about the man who looks at himself in the mirror and then leaves the mirror and immediately forgets what he looks like. God was talking here about people who listen to the word and don't obey it. Again, that cognitive dissonance. I believe one thing, but I do another. In Proverbs chapter 6, in verse 16 and 19, God is talking about how he hates discord. He literally is listing out the things that he hates, and discord is one of the things that the Bible said God hates. Why? Again, because this means a separation. And who is the one who wanted to separate himself from God? Who is the one that causes you to be separated from your destiny, from your hope, from things being well in your emotions, in your soul, from you being in your right mind? I could go on and on. The king of separation here is the enemy, is Satan. And again, cord means connection. It means attachment. It means union, and it means yoke. It means connection to God. And he is the one who says, give me your yokes and give me your heavy burdens. Take upon my yoke. That is what it means to be yoked. You ever heard of that saying, to be equally yoked or unequally yoked? That means to be connected. That means to have that cord. God says, take my yoke upon you because my yoke is easy and my burden is light. God is saying, be yoked to me. The enemy is the one who's saying, have discord, have strife, enjoy it, it's fun, watch it all day and all night, ha ha ha, got you. That's your enemy. Listen, to know more about this stuff and so much more, I am telling you guys, grab this book. It's all in here. Expose: The Battle for the Soul of a Generation. You can grab it at nextgenministries.com. That is NEXGNministries.com. Peace.